Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City gets released this week. It's based on the first two video games of the same name, and this is just another video game movie adaptation. But does this movie break the video game movie curse, or is it just another terrible shitbox video game movie? Find out right here, right now. Oh man, I can't. This movie was so disappointing. It's maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I had such high expectations going into this. Well, let's get right into it. What is there to get into though? I mean, there's no plot, there's no character development, there's nothing. It's just a big waste of time. It felt like a lot of the movie was just cut out of it. It didn't make any sense. It wasn't cohesive. Just guys shooting zombies once in a while. I mean, I didn't think they could mess this up this badly, but somehow they have. And Johannes Roberts wrote and directed this movie, and he hasn't had the best track record. I would say it's been a lot of bad movies, even though I did like 47 Meters Down, both of them actually, the sequel Uncaged as well. But this movie, I'm trying to find good things to say about it, and hopefully I do by the end of this video, but there's a lot bad, a lot wrong with this movie, and we'll get right into it. First off, the plot, like I said before, useless, terrible. They had these flashbacks that are pointless and give nothing to the story and just take too long and drag on and on and on. And I just wanted to get to the police station and like get into the story from the second Resident Evil movie. And it just takes forever to get there. And then when it gets there, it does nothing. In the police station, there's nothing happening. Just a couple shots go off and kill some zombies. And nothing is really explained of why things are happening, what's behind this, what's driving these people to create the viruses that Umbrella Corporation has. It's just, there's nothing motivation here of any character, good or bad. And then they uses like a countdown timer, which I didn't really get. It didn't explain it very well, which is another problem. But it just seemed useless, and it would show up on screen every now and again with the time. I'm just like, why does this matter? It wasn't until near the end of the movie that I'm like, oh, that's why it matters. It's counting down to something bad going to happen. And I'm a big fan of Resident Evil 2, all the video games. I played them as a kid and loved them. They're one of the greatest video game series of all time, I feel. And that's maybe why I dislike this movie so much. But like, this movie should have just stayed in the police station, should have just focused on two characters rather than combining the first video game and the second video game. Just have standalone of the main characters on their own, give them development, give them time for us to care about them, time for us to like them and love them and grow a connection with them, rather than throwing all these iconic characters together and us just having a thin story for each one of them and just not caring about them and just wishing there's a lot more to this movie than what it gave us. And also, who leaves the police station door wide open? It's a dumb move, and I'll get into Leon, which is so disappointing, but just wide open, gates wide open, it's stuff like that I'm like, what were you thinking in this movie? Do these people have no common sense? Are they all just dumb motherfuckers? Each one of these characters are so mind-numbingly dumb and just idiotic. They fucking have no peripheral vision. They can't see what's just on the right here. It's right here, guys. It's right here. Oh man. But no, they just look that way and like, oh, I can't see a guy walking past me on my right hand side. oh, it's something happening right in front of me. Oh, I can't see it. It's just so fucking stupid. this movie is just these. It's just these characters. I can't wrap my head around it. Really, I'm shocked this movie was that bad. Maybe probably is the worst of the year. We'll get to that list at the end of December, but this is a strong contender. And one of the biggest reasons for that was how they handled Leon's character. He was one of my favorites in Resident Evil 2. He was very badass, cool, calm, collective, I felt like. And in this, he's just a spineless dipshit who doesn't know anything, is just dumb, who just follows people around, has no backbone. Like he's given nothing to do, just like every other character. But I felt so disappointed because he felt like such an afterthought, and it was only put in the movie because of his name and that people will recognize the name. But you gotta have the character matter. And it also doesn't help that the acting in this movie was downright terrible. It was laughable at times. I know I saw this with a packed theater, and some people laughed at points you shouldn't laugh at. And it's just the acting and delivery of these actors and actresses. Like, it's not their fault, it's the movie, it's just what they were given. But some of them, just the lines they were given and the stuff they had to do was just laughable at times, just because it was so obvious and so out of character from the Resident Evil video game portrayal of these characters. And then the one aspect I was hoping was good that they'd got right would be the zombies, but they did look okay at times and really bad at other times. They kind of looked like cheap knockoffs that anyone can create in their own house and be for Halloween. Like, there's nothing special about them. And the specials monsters that had overly used CGI were just looked terrible. And there's one scene with the town getting destroyed, the city getting destroyed, Raccoon City getting destroyed, and it's just looks so bad and so unbelievable that, like, I was at that point in the movie, I was checked out. I almost walked out of the theater watching this, but I did stick around. And then the zombies, there's only one zombie dog in this, and those things were hard to kill. Same thing with the liquor. There was only one of them in this movie, and it was the easiest thing they could have killed. They didn't even need a gun to kill it. Like, what the fuck? Like, those things you had to shoot multiple times, creep around, and this movie just did not have that suspense with it and did not do anything to make these iconic zombie creatures scary at all. This movie should be a horror movie, but it's barely even a movie. Everything was just so easy for these guys. It's just shoot randomly at zombies and kill them. Like, there's no thought process, no thinking, no critical thinking. Like, that was the other part of this movie. There's no puzzle solving, no detective work like in the video games. Like, they just walk around and be like, oh, zombie, boom, boom, okay, he dead. We'll just keep walking this way, guys. Like, it was just, this movie was just all about fan service and just showing us these iconic locations. You get to see the truck crash scene in Resident Evil 2 video game that is cool, and this one was just underwhelming because it wasn't as big as a video game. And there's, like, you see like the keys and like the police station with like turning the statues and all that, but like nothing is done with them. A lot of stuff is just wasted in this movie. And that's why, like, I don't say this that often, but this movie kind of ruined the game for me. Like, it's not gonna be a while until I can play Resident Evil 2 again and get the satisfaction I did when I was a kid, just because this movie's is just so implanted in my brain right now. But it'll fade with time quicker than hopefully sooner rather than later. And this movie, like, at least give me something cool. Like, anything, I would take anything cool. The liquor looked okay, but like, you gotta give me like characters that I can care about. That's my biggest problem with this movie. And then the post-credit, there's a post-credit scene. I'm not gonna try to spoil anything, but it made no sense too, of just where they were and why they're there. Like, I'm thinking about this, and maybe like the first Resident Evil franchise is better than each one of those movies. I haven't seen them all. I've seen some of them, but I gave up on them and I tried this reboot, but those might be better than this movie. And this movie might be one of the worst movies I've ever seen, worst video game movie definitely I've seen. And I can't give this movie a score that's not 0 out of 100. Like I don't know any redeeming qualities of this movie. And if you want to waste your time, go watch it. But this is a fucking terrible movie that should never have gotten made and should have been reworked and done something different about it. Like it felt. I'm just disappointed. That's all.